Hi, this is Margo. This is Thursday evening, July 25th, 2019, 6:40 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. So this is going to be an earthquake update, and before we get into the earthquakes, I'm going to show you some sulfur dioxide, but before we look at that, I want to show you this earthquake that happened here. This was a 5.0 at the Chagos Archipelago region. This came in today at 1:47 p.m. It's right on the red line in this Indian Ocean. And this is Madagascar. This is an island off the coast of Africa here. Now, and we're not showing very many earthquakes internationally, and so it's a little concerning to see the lack of earthquakes. It makes me think that something big is really building, and I really think it is. So remember this earthquake. Now, I've been talking about sulfur dioxide, remember, and relating it to earthquakes. And normally when I see a sulfur dioxide release, a signature, it shows up within a day or so on the earthquake map, if it's from an earthquake. So, right here, now this is CAMS. This is from Wednesday the 24th. We're looking at the global view, total column, and you see this new release. This is a new release here, just to the north of Madagascar. I'm going to zoom in on this. It's a release right here at the northern end, and this earthquake happened a little bit over here, a little bit northeast of that northern tip of Madagascar. So I'm thinking that that sulfur dioxide release is connected to that 5.1 earthquake. Now we're still seeing, let's go to today. Seeing a new release over here to the northwest of Australia. The source I'm thinking is over here, and it's part of, probably connected to this Indonesia area. So we'll be looking for a large release or a large earthquake happening in this Bali area again. There's also a new release over here in the Pacific. Let's get the Pacific view. Right here, this is a new release right in the middle of the Pacific. I'm not sure if that's, we don't see earthquakes there. It could be an underwater volcano, it could, I don't know. But it's a sudden burst that came up. We're seeing also another release off the coast of Canada up here. So this is all showing movement of the plates, and as one plate moves, the others move to accommodate and adjust. And so this is what it's looking like right now. So I'm going to pause this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I just wanted to make sure the recording was going okay. But we've got huge huge releases, we're covered in sulfur dioxide. I've never seen it like this. We're just, no wonder we all are coming apart, what with the methane and everything else. And anyway, I'm going to leave this as a backdrop. And now, let's get back to our earthquake report. We have USGS pulled up here. We're showing 722 earthquakes of all magnitudes for the last 24 hours. Of those, 43 are 2.5 magnitude or higher. And of all the magnitudes, we've got 489 here in the event area. This is in Southern California in the Ridgecrest, Searles Valley, Coso Junction area. It's still rocking. It hasn't stopped. This all started on July the 4th. I've been taking a screenshot every morning and posting it. This morning, this is what it looked like. There were 448 earthquakes here, and there were 641 earthquakes worldwide, and this was at 9:10 a.m. And this is day 21. So it's been 3 weeks since this all began, and they're still coming in fast, as fast as they're coming off the map. And now it's 490, so that's more than there were this morning. So that means that's speeding up. So it had dropped off a little bit. So it was 448 this morning. I think that's the lowest I've seen. I mean, look back through my notes here. Yeah, that's the lowest I'd seen in a 24-hour period. And now it's speeding back up. And we've got some larger ones coming in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and show that. And if any more come in during the report, we can go over them at the end. In this event area, there are 18 that are 2.5 magnitude or higher. And so here's Ridgecrest. Searles Valley is over here. This is Coso Junction and Little Lake. Little Lake, okay, and these are Little Lake. Well, that's in the Coso Junction area. So I think this is the largest one that's come in since last night. It's a 4.7. This came in this afternoon at 5:42 p.m. and look how shallow it is. It was only 1.9 kilometers depth. And these are very shallow. Here's one that's almost at the surface. There's the 2.6 down here at Trona, and it's a 0.7 kilometer depth. Now what this means, as the depth becomes more shallow, here's one at 1 kilometer, 3.1 up here at Little Lake. This came in at 5:57 this afternoon, 1 kilometer depth. As the epicenter comes up higher, it's showing, so it's not very deep at all, so it's showing, I'm thinking it's showing movement of the magma, that the magma is rising. And I heard a report today saying that this dome is rising and that the magma is rising. The magma chamber is rising. And there are reports out there, if people have been following the earthquakes, I know that there are reports that this is a caldera that's going to blow, and it could. I mean, I don't know. I'm just reporting what I'm seeing. and we're seeing 18 here that are 2.5 magnitude or higher, and this 4.7, we haven't seen a 4.7 here in a few days. Here's a 3.0. We have a lot of 3s, and let's see if there are any others in the 4s. No. So, you know, 2s and 3s, and then that 4.7 came in. So that's showing major disturbance here, and we can see in all magnitudes of the 492 now, we have a lot of smaller earthquakes just coming around, and it's still spreading out. This is Johannesburg. Now down here, that's Mojave, that's Mojave. Normally I have it zoomed in at this where I have the Argus Mountains listed up here. Normally I have it zoomed in to this view, which shows 489. We can see the big one here. This oh no, that's a 3.0. 4.7. So that one is a recent one that came in at 6:42. So all these red ones have just recently come in. So they're coming in faster than they're going off the map now. So you know, I'm just reporting what I'm seeing. So let's go to so the last one I'm looking at is a 1.8 at Trona at 6:49. Okay, I'm going to remember that. Alright, so let's get through this earthquake report. We're going to start over here, and I already showed you this 5.0 near at the Chagos Archipelago region at 1:47 this afternoon, 28 kilometers deep, right on this red line. Coming on around was a 4.3 near Samlaki, Indonesia. This came in at 2:44 this afternoon, 211 kilometers deep. Now the sulfur dioxide release we saw was about in this region off the coast of northwest Australia, and normally we don't see the earthquake right under the total column where it came up. Usually the earthquake is off maybe 50 or 100 miles, so I'm thinking it could be up here, and could be tomorrow that will reflect that. Here's a 4.4 near Inarotali, Indonesia at 6:37 this morning. This is on land. Coming on around, here's a 5.0 at Pangai, Tonga at 7:13 this morning. 4.7 Fiji Islands, 11:11 this morning. 537 kilometers deep, very deep. And these times I'm telling you are Pacific times because that's my time zone. 4.9 near Raoul Island, New Zealand at 4:40 this morning. And a 4.8 near L'Esperance Rock, New Zealand at 7:20 this morning. So a lot of activity down here on this southern ring of fire area. Then here's one that happened at 4.5 near Haiburu, Japan. This came in at 4:56 this afternoon. If we zoom in, this is Okinawa. So it's just southeast of Okinawa. So that probably didn't do any damage or anything. but that's where that one was, right next to that red line. And so the other big sulfur dioxide release we're seeing is right here. Now it looks like we're seeing a ridge, this right here. So it looks like it's coming up along this ridge. So maybe this is volcanic in nature and something's happening, or maybe it's cracked under there. I don't know. But we've been seeing releases here and in this area for a while now. And that's it for the international earthquakes. Not very many at all. In fact, it's kind of alarming to not see any more than this over here. And it's just eerily quiet over on this west side of the Pacific Ring of Fire, and eerily quiet down here in the South America region and Mexico region. So, is something building? No doubt something's building if it's that quiet. Alright, so here's Hawaii. We're showing 11 here today. The biggest one is this 3.0. This is on the flank of Kilauea. This came in last night at 8 o'clock. That was after my report ended. And so I'm going to call these off. 2.2 Mauna Loa, 1.9 Kilauea at a negative 1.0 depth. 3.0, that's on the flank of Kilauea, 1.9 Pahala, 3.1 Mauna Loa, 2.1 Mauna Loa. Those were all at negative depths. 1.8 Kilauea, 1.7 Kilauea, 1.9 Mauna Loa, 1.9 Honoka'a, and a 1.8 Pahala. So let's see. So a couple of these are right in the crater. 2.1 and a 2.2. And these are on the flank. This 3.1, that's the largest one here, and a 1.9. So lots of activity there, and the earthquakes are getting larger in magnitude there too. Now coming over to the Caribbean, we're only seeing one here today. Normally we see about 10 or 12 or something, and it's a 4.7. It was a big one near Grande Once, Guadalupe, at 3:15 this morning. So let's zoom in. So here's Guadalupe, and here's the earthquake. Here in the ocean. So that didn't cause any damage. They might not have even felt it, but that's a bigger one. That's bigger than we normally see here. So the ones we're seeing are going up in magnitude too. Okay, now looking at Alaska, we've got 75 here today. Of these, 6 or 2.5 magnitude or higher. We've got this 3.4. Hold on. We just finished having a thunderstorm, and this is the first rain we've had in a couple of months. And I've got the windows open, and there's something suffocating like coming through the windows. Normally it feels like real clean and refreshed, but this is like something from, I don't know, some kind of blob from the deep or something. it just doesn't feel right. And it's kind of like choking me. I feel like my bronchioles are shutting down. So I was fine before I started the show, but whatever. So, oh, they did spray for mosquitoes. They found West Nile virus here in some of the water in the like we have little lakes around here, and they tested some of them. I don't know which lakes they were in, and they found West Nile virus in them. So they did mosquito spraying today, and I had the windows closed all day, and I don't know, maybe that rain is getting the spray all mixed in real good everywhere. I don't know. This world is awful. So we've got this 3.4 that came in at the armpit where this red line comes up, where the Pacific plate meets the North American plate. This is a pivot point. This came in last night at 7:34 p.m. Here's a 2.7 Kodiak at 5:28 this morning. Here's a 2.9 Valdez at 6:39 this evening. 2.5 Valdez at 8:29 last night. 2.8 Big Lake, that's at Anchorage at 11:01 this morning. And a 3.3 at Kobuk at 11:39 this morning. So those are the bigger ones. So if we zoom in to all magnitudes now, we can see them dotted around, spreading up, and we're seeing action here in the Aleutian Islands, and we've seen sulfur dioxide coming up along these Aleutian Islands. So, and these are volcanic in nature too. This is a 0.8 at Semisopopnoi Island. Here's a 0.6 at Adak, minus 0.4 at Adak. So little ones. So I don't think those would show a big release of sulfur dioxide, but you never know. There's a 0.6 at Akutan coming on up. Here's the Cook Inlet. We've got a cluster down here at King Salmon. These are small, zeros and under, looks like. There's one that just came in, a 1.8 Kodiak. So they're clustered around. Here they are near Redoubt Volcano, a 1.4, 0.8, minus 0.4, 1.3, 1.6, 1.2, and so forth. Here's some 2.9. Okay, that's one that just came in at Valdez. And a 2.1. See, the larger dots are in the 2s range. Here's a 2.2 at Sutton Alpine, 2.5 Valdez. Here's the Anchorage cluster. Here's a little cluster to the west, and so on. Here's a 1.7 Chitina. Here's some more in the armpit, some smaller ones, 1.5, 0.9, and a 1.1. And they're moving on up past Fairbanks. Let's see, we've got 6 at Kobuk here today, and the biggest one was that 3.3, and the rest are in the 1s range. And 1.7 at Koktovik. So they're just clustered around there. Now let's come on down into the lower 48. We're showing 634 here today. So let's get the calculator. 634 minus 492. So we've got 142 down here in the mainland of the United States, besides the event area. So that's an uptick. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm back. I'm not feeling well. So we're going to start here in Oklahoma. We definitely have an event going on here, it looks like. We've got 33 here today. And look how they're clustered up at probably at drill points where they drilled a whole lot for oil. And so they made bigger and bigger holes, and so because it just seems like they keep having earthquakes in the same places. So 33, well, let's start with the single one. So 1.8 at Pawnee, 2.1 at Medford, 1.3 at Fairview. Then we've got 3 here at Moreland, a 1.6, a 1.8, and a 2.3. Now we've got two clusters here. Here's Hennessy. That's Kingfisher. So we'll look at Hennessy first. We've got 5 here at Hennessy. These are good size. 3.3, 3.0, 1.7, 2.6, and 2.3. Well, we normally don't see larger ones like in the 3s here in Oklahoma. We see 1s and 2s. Here we've got 20 at Kingfisher. Now this event started last night during my show. This is the one that started it off, a 2.1 that came in at 7:51 last night. And then they've just been coming in. Here's a 3.8. That's getting up there. Lots of 2s. 2.7, 2.5, 2.0, 2.4, 2.4, 2.3, 2.4, 3.4. That happened at 11:10 this morning. And then this 1.7 came in at 4:08 this afternoon. So something's up at Kingfisher. So and with the larger earthquakes coming up and clustering like that, but they've drilled the crap out of Mother Earth all over, especially Oklahoma, Texas. Okay, let's look at Utah. We've got 2, a 1.2 at Enoch and a 1.4 at Fairview. And now in the Yellowstone region, make sure we got everything here. We're showing 9 here today. Got a quarry blast, a 1.9 near Butte, Montana at 12:04 in the afternoon, right on schedule. They hadn't blasted in a few days. So let's zoom in. Here's a 0.9 at Lincoln. Here are 4 clustered at Manhattan, a 0.9, 1.2, 1.5, and a 0.8. And back at Old Faithful Geyser, we've got 3 here today, a 1.1, a 0.6, and a 1.6. So that's what's going on in the Yellowstone region. Now coming into the Pacific Northwest, we've got 16 here today. So that's picking up. That is definitely on the upswing there. And they're near these volcanoes. This right here at Mount Hood, we've got a whole cluster, and that's a volcano. So let's look at the tremor map. Here are the tremors, the final number from yesterday, 291, and they were centered sorry, down here and in about the middle part of Oregon going south, past Medford, Roseburg, clustering just southwest of Roseburg and southwest of Medford. That was yesterday. Now today, fasten your seatbelt, we've got 404 tremors. And so we've got the same areas clustering here in Oregon, and now we've got a new area clustering in the Sacramento Valley, right here, just southwest of Redding. Just across from Chico. Here's Chico, so a little bit northwest. So we'll be looking in that area. So these are coming in a line following this Juan de Fuca plate down. So I'm thinking these are as a result of movement of this Juan de Fuca plate. Here's a 1.5 at low fall, 1.0 at Buckley. We've got 3 at Mount St. Helens. Looks like we've got 2 in the crater and 1 on the side. 0.2, 0.2, those are in the crater, and a 0 magnitude. Look at this negative depth, a negative 0.9 kilometer depth. So that's the magma moving up in the volcano. So, you know, this could come back to life. Any of these could come back to life. But that's right, these are right in the crater of Mount St. Helens, supervolcano. Then down here, we've got 11 at Mount Hood Village, another supervolcano. Here's the crater. Where's the crater? Right up here. But so they're on the flank, but that's okay. I mean, it's still important. We've got 10 here. So I'm going to call them off: 0.5, 0.6, 0.8, 0.8, 0.4, 1.2, 0.9, 0.9, 1.1, and 1.2. So these are pretty small, but it doesn't take... Oh, here's another one, and a 0.6. Doesn't take many of the small ones to... Here's a 0.4, 0.5 there. So 11 total at Mount Hood, including this one. So they can, those little ones can break the plate apart if you have enough of them, just chipping away. So, okay, so we saw the swarms, the tremors down here by Medford and up here. Let's see, Roseburg is right there. So here's Roseburg. So they were swarming over in this area. So now in California, the swarm is just east of Petrolia and this fulcrum point where the San Andreas fault line meets up with the Juan de Fuca plate, and here's the Cascadia subduction zone. So all of these tremors are showing movement. See? Almost straight across from there, from that Petrolia area. Almost straight across, right in here. So I don't know. I think something's about to happen. Big. Huge. And people better be ready. Mainly they better be ready spiritually, because when it's this big, you can't really, whatever preparation you do physically, it's not going to be enough. It's just not. Okay, here's a 1.0 at East Quincy. Now here's Oroville down here. Here's Lake Almanor. Now this is, okay, so East Quincy. Here's Lake Davis. And here's a 1.3 near Truckee. Here's a 0.8 near Fernley, is just south of Pyramid Lake. Here's a 0.7 near Fernley. A 1.1. This is southeast of Fallon. You hear my voice? I'm choking up now. It's whatever's coming in through the window. Something toxic is coming in. It's bad air. I've got a bad air day. We got 7 in southern Nevada, 1.1 at Alamo, and a 1.2. Oh, that's at Enoch. So, and then the rest are small. So 6 here. Alright, now let's get Mammoth Lakes while we're over here. We've got 8 here today. These are pretty small. This 2.0 is the biggest over here at Deep Springs. 1.1, 1.6. So those are the largest ones, and the rest are under ones. There's our event area. The event area is over here. All the action is over there. Alright, the geysers, they're showing 22 here today. Let's see if anything here is 2.5 or higher. Nope, they're all right down there. So that's kind of an average number. 1s and under, it looks like. Yep, 1.5 is the highest. Now we're going to follow this red line down. Here's a 1.2 near Berkeley and a 1.7 near Byron, a 1.1 near Alum Rock, a 0.9 and a 0.6 at the Pinnacles. Here's a 1.1 Park Field. And now coming into Southern California, there's a 1.1 Big Bear City. So what's this? Those are the Mojave, 2 Mojaves, and a 1.0 Lake Isabella, and that's Johannesburg. And that's I'm gonna consider even these Mojaves as part of the event area. It just looks like it's spreading out and encompassing that now. Now, coming into Southern California, we've got 29 here today. That's kind of an average number. Here's a 1.5 Yucaipa. Let's see, these are ones and under, it looks like. Uh-oh, quarry blast near Corona. That's next to Prado Dam. This came in at 1:31 this afternoon at Home Gardens. I'll show you where Prado Dam is. Here's Corona. Prado Dam is right over here. So you just find Corona and then you go left to the first intersecting highway, and it's right here in this little nook right there. And there's the quarry blast right there. They're always blasting there. So they're just peppered around. 1.9 Borrega Springs. Anza. See what this new one is at 0.5. And so on. 1.3. Oh, remember we saw this cluster at 29 Palms? We've got 5 here today. The largest is a 1.3, but that's still showing movement. So here's the event area. We can still see them coming in from southeast to northwest and still spreading out to the east and coming to the west. And here's that's Lake Isabella. Now we've had them here before. Olancha 1.3. So this is, so they're saying there's a dome and it's rising and the magma chamber is rising. And I think we have evidence of that with these earthquakes being more shallow. Like here's a 0.7, a 1.1. And so on. Here's a 1.0 kilometer depth at Little Lake. That was a 3.1. So, I think that's it for tonight. Let's see. Those are small. Okay, here we go. South America. Just happened. 4.3 near Arica, Chile. This happened at 6:56 this evening, just off the coast of Arica, Chile. 34 kilometers deep. Let's see what's going on. I think I got those in Alaska. Yeah. I think we got those covered. There's a 2.9 Valdez. Yeah, I remember saying that. Let's see what came in Hawaii. 1.8 Pahala. I might have already shown that one. I don't know. That came in at 6:33. It's hard to remember what was on the map and what wasn't when you've got this many. So, I'm going to go ahead and sign off and remind everyone that we are in the end times, and the reason I'm reporting on earthquakes is because Jesus said, when his disciples asked him what would be the signs of his return, and one of the signs was earthquakes in diverse places, and there's going to be cataclysmic changes coming very soon. And so this is why I'm reporting on all of this, because I think we're very close to his return. So if you haven't done so already, I recommend that you get right with God and Jesus, because time is short. Make your spiritual preparations. Physical preparations are one thing, but more important are spiritual preparations. It's a battle for the souls. So until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night.